Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to talk about a little laser measure that I bought, but before we get on to that I just want to say to all of you that have been following my channel, it hasn't been going that long, just over a year now. I thank you very much and appreciate you watching. I appreciate your comments and I try to answer, well I pretty much do answer all of the comments, and thank you for subscribing. It it helps the channel to get recommended for people to watch, and then it helps grow and spread the wonderful word of carpentry. So the video I'm going to do is about a laser measure that I bought. I've done quite a few videos now where I've shown various ways that I sort of measure things, be it direct marking studs or end panels for kitchens, and there's been a consistent theme from you guys, and thank you very much for these comments in the comment sections, that I need to get myself a laser measure. Well, as I've said in other videos, I'm a bit of a dinosaur and I'm slowly sort of getting with the program, and I ended up buying one of these laser measures, and there seemed to be a couple that kind of floated to the top. There was the Leica or Lesia, I'm not sure, apologies if I pronounced that wrong. I think it was called the Disto D110, and the other one was the BOSCH GLM 50C. I got a lot of votes for the BOSCH, and I think I got a few votes for the Leica as well, but I ended up going with the BOSCH just because it did have some other features that the Leica didn't. Roughly about the same kind of price. I think the BOSCH can be got slightly cheaper now for maybe between sort of 100 and 120 pounds. I think the Leica is roughly the same. Both great bits of kit. I think accurate into about 50 or 60 meters, accurate down to 1.5 mil, which is pretty accurate. So here it is. Again, I got this one from, here's the box. I got this from actually a B&Q. It's like a sort of, I suppose it's a DIY hardware store, whatever you want to call it. 120 quid, including VAT, so not a bad price. And here's the little unit itself. Now, I'm not going to do some in-depth review into all of its features because, I mean, let's just turn it on. It has got absolutely stacks of features. It's Bluetooth, connects to your phone, and you've got this I can't remember the name of it. I should measure on BOSCH Measure On, I think it's called, the app. You download the app onto your phone, and again, perhaps best check out someone who's done a more comprehensive review of this, but the stuff it can do is mind-bending. So like, for instance, you can open up projects in the app. You can literally, there's definite uses for it. I haven't used it yet. If say for instance you had a window and you wanted to send the size of the window to someone, you take a picture of that window, or the opening with your phone, and then you overlay, using the Bluetooth connection from this, you overlay the measurements onto the picture. It looked, I could definitely see an application for it. I haven't used it yet, but there's a lot to learn. There's so many functions. I mean, you can just see here, you've got all these different functions. You can measure from the front of the unit, you can measure from the back of the unit. It's got another feature that it's constantly measuring rather than you putting it against something and pressing the sort of measure now button. So tons of things. So I've done, there's a couple of, the video might be a bit disjointed, sorry. I've done there's a little bit of footage of me using it to cut some fascia, which I'll put on, and there's also, just for a bit of fun, my buddy that I've been working with, he has actually got the Leica Disto D110, and we did a sort of comparison, so you'll see that in a bit as well. It was quite interesting actually. So again, it pretty much does what it says on the tin, and it's accurate. It definitely is accurate to within a millimeter, which I think this one, if you're going to do really accurate stuff with it, I think this one, I've learned that this one measures slightly under. So this one's about 0.5 mil under. I know that sounds ridiculous, but if you're taking a measurement with this over a long distance, but then you're transferring that measurement onto a piece of material that you're cutting with a tape measure, the two perhaps aren't synced together. So it's just one of those things that you learn. And I know you might say a millimetre or 0.5 millimetre is not much, but it's only got to be short by a millimetre, and it's short. So, so the measuring, I'm waffling now, the simple measuring function is absolutely brilliant. And it does, let's put it back to the, just bear with me. Yeah, so the measuring function's absolutely fantastic, and what it does, you press that button there, and you can't see now, but it's, can you see if I put that there? There, look. See up on there, can you just see that? You know, so it puts a point on it, and then you press and it takes the measurement. So, and if you did it again, let's say I want to do a measurement, I'm going to go straight up to the ceiling this time. Let's press that, and it gives another measurement there. But can you see what it does? It stored the last measurement as well. So I think it stores a certain amount, which is really great. The other thing that I have found absolutely fantastic is you can just see on it, look, it's got a little, can you see there? It's got a little inclinometer on it, look. And so as you tilt it, and I did get this one because it had that extra feature, because I thought, I wonder if I could use that. And it's really great. And I'm going to do another video showing a specific application for this, but I did a video a little while ago. It was just doing a lean-to roofing time-lapse. And we had to get the roof underneath some windows on the original house, but the plate height of the extension was set at 2.4 meters. So what this was really good for is you turn the laser on and you fire the dot up to the measurement you want, which in this case was 2 courses below the sill of the window, and you fire it up till this would obviously sit on the plate, and you fire it up till the dot hits 2 courses below the window, and it tells you what the pitch is, which it's really handy, because the tiles we were using, I think they had to have like an 18-degree pitch. So we kind of knew just with this, before we started doing any work, we knew if those tiles were going to work, and if they weren't going to work, we could have potentially either tried a different tile or done something else. So it's really, really handy and quite accurate as well. And I think that, you know, if you've got an old roof and you were wanting to match a new roof into it, say if you've got an old house that got a hand cut roof on it and it got a certain degree pitch, and you were putting an extension on, but the roofs had to run through flush, you know, you could check this. You know, obviously you'd want to do it over a longer space than that, but you could maybe put a 600 or a 1800 level up the roof, put this on it, and I think it's proved to be pretty accurate so far. I mean, certainly I did a test pitching this at a 45 degree, put a plumb mark down, and it was absolutely spot on with my roofing square. So anyway, again, I am waffling, sorry. If you're in the market for a laser like I was, I can recommend this. It's a great little bit of kit. Say just over £100 plus VAT. I've used it a lot more than I thought I would, actually, and I want to say thank you to all the guys that sort of had looked at some of my other videos when I'm showing sort of old school measuring hack tips, where they say, get yourself a laser, Del Boy. So I do feel like I've sort of taken another step up, you know, into the modern world. So what I'm going to show you now is a little bit of footage of this comparison between this and the Leica, and also this other bit of footage, and it's just a bit of fun, and it's actually quite interesting. Right, so literally the first time I've ever used this, so let's see how simple it is. Switch it on, press it to where you want to measure. This is set so it measures to the back of the unit. I think you can set it so it measures from the middle of the unit or the front of the unit. So let's push that on there. We press the button. It fires it to where I want to go. Yeah, that's about the right. This one's got a little level in it as well, which is really cool. It tells you if your beam is being shot out level, which is really cool. So now just press that again. 3148 it says. 3148. So let's cut that and see what happens. 3148. Okay. Right, I've cut my board. Let's have a look. Just put a couple of tabs on top just to hold it. Let's have a look. I did leave it maybe half a mil long. Oh, it's tight. Yes. Tell you what. That is tight. I'm really pleased with that. Yeah, that's a bit of a revelation, that is. That's really cool. It says 1.5 mil accuracy, so if you were measuring something like this and if you wanted to be on the safe side, you could maybe allow it a millimetre longer, then just trim it off afterwards. Better to be a mil long than a mil short. So yeah, really happy with that. That's really cool. We have got a slight gap here, and I'm not going to scallop cut this fascia. All that's happened is I think this is curled a little bit. So what I'll do is just I can get to the back of it. I'll just put a screw down in through the back. So yeah, really happy with that. That's cool. Another little tool has become part of the toolkit. Looks like it's going to be really useful. So what we're going to do is a quick range test of this Bosch laser measure. And what I've done, to be fair, is we're going to have a look against one of the other sort of industry leading laser measurers which my buddy's got. So what we've done is we set up, you can't quite see, there's a little X marks the spot on the wall here, and it's about 12 meters. We've set a target point on the other side, which I'll show you now. see if I can zoom that in. You might like this. It's right down the other end there. So tell me where you can see what it is. Let's zoom it in. Here we go. Look out for the target. Yeah, there's the target. Oh, look. So that's what we're aiming for at the other side. I'll pan that back out. There, it's all the way down there. So let's just unclip this. So we're basically going from this point here, X marks the spot here, and we're going right down to that point, right down there. See if I can get that again. My logo, look. So let's try both these lasers and see if they give the same measurement. Right, so the first one we're going to test is the Leica Disto 110. Let's just get down on the target there. Yep. Right, he's bang on it. That's it. He's taken his measurement, and now I'm going to have a go with the Bosch. Just zoom that in a bit more. See what we get there. Here we go. Stand by. On the target. Excellent. Okay, so let's have a look. The measurement, I'll just zoom that back in. Yeah, so interestingly, we did that a couple of times. On the Bosch, I've got 12 meters 962, and on the Leica, we've got 12 meters 963. So we've got, it would seem that we've got a millimeter differential between these two. So it sounds like a lot, but you know, it could be that the Bosch is 12 meters 962.8 millimeters, couldn't it? So over that distance, I think that's pretty accurate. So both fantastic measures. So I hope that made sense, and you know, it was quite interesting that they didn't quite match together, those two lasers. But what I will say is kind of relative, as I was saying earlier. Once you know where your tolerances are on these lasers, you can build that into any measurements you do. I know you might say, well, you shouldn't have to, and maybe a millimeter is being too fussy. But what I will say was really interesting with this is my buddies was showed a millimeter longer. If this dot was 1 inch outside the center, my logo center, it read that extra millimeter longer. So it's really, the tolerance, I suspect, in real terms between the two is probably less than half a millimeter. So another thing I didn't mention, this one just runs on a couple of, are they AAA? Couple of AAA batteries. So, you know, not rechargeable, but they seem to last a long time. I've used quite a lot, and the battery's still going strong. So repeating myself now, as I said, thanks for everyone that, you know, said that this is the sort of thing that I should be getting. I have got one, and I'm really pleased that I have. So as always, I hope you find this interesting. I'd be interested to hear what you guys have got in terms of these measurers and how you get on with them, and you know, if you find any pluses or minuses to having them, and you know, anything that you might think is relative to having one of these. I'd be really interested to know in the comments. So as always, thanks for watching.